And welcome back, everybody. We're out here at the garden with Dave the Garden Guy answering your questions right now. Maggie, you are up first. Here you have a question about an elm tree.
Yes, I do. I have 2 elm trees on my property. I'm in Flagstaff.
Yes.
I have 2 elm trees that are at least 20 years old.
Okay.
And this is the first summer the leaves have turned to like lace.
Okay, they've turned to lace where they look like they've just kind of been eaten out on the underside of the leaves where you see maybe the veins, for lack of better terms.
No, the whole leaf.
The whole leaf. But
The whole leaf,
including
but
the
it's lacy.
You know what? Send me a picture of that. You may have some type of skeletonizer. We've got a lot of elms down here in the southern area too. And occasionally we get some type of insect infestation, but more than likely that's what it is. I need to take a look at it. Now, one other hint, when you're going to send that picture in to me, check out gardenguy.com and go to sick tree treatment, because there may be something that you just changed in the area. And in fact, I went out and looked at somebody's tree the other day. And the tree had been being parked on. They had changed their parking location and started parking on top of the roots of the tree. So remember, folks, when you got trees around your home, any type of change will cause some type of problem with that tree and ultimately, possibly, the demise of the tree. So be very careful. I mean, these guys are living organisms and they like to pretty much be established and nothing changing, at least within the root zone or drip zone of that tree.
Right. Coming up next is Tony with a great question about watering, which is great because we have your sprinkler going on right now.
We do.
Watering in the wintertime.
You know what?
Good morning, Tony.
Tony? Tony, are you there?
Yes. Can you
Okay.
hear?
Go ahead, Tony. What can I do for you?
What I'd like to know, Dave, is if you continue to water your summer grass, your Bermuda grass, in the wintertime, will it possibly stay partial green? I know it won't stay totally green, but can you manage to get it through the winter, or are you basically wasting your time?
You are wasting your time because it's all temperature induced. And what happens is if you go ahead and continue to water that plant, it really never goes through dormancy. And Bermuda grass actually likes a little bit of dormancy. And that's why we tell people, well, not to go ahead and overseed their lawns with ryegrass about every 3 years. So go ahead and water it about every 3 to 4 weeks. With the amount of rain that we've been getting about once a week, that suffices at least through January or February, depending on soil temperatures. And of course, if we don't get any real serious rains, go to every 20 to 30 days and make sure you water at least about 6 inches deep with each water. And the way we tell that, well, you just go ahead and push a piece of rebar into the soil and you leave the sprinkler on long enough to be able to push this in the soil very easily, at least 6 inches, then you know how long to leave those sprinklers on with each cycle. So every 20 to 30 days if we don't get any rain.
We don't get any rain. All right. And then Shirley, you are our last call. I hear you got a question about a persimmon tree.
Shirley?
Persimmons?
Persimmons, whatever.
yeah. Okay.
Shirley, what's going on with your persimmon tree?
Well, I'm not sure. It was planted in, I think last February.
Okay.
And we're winter residents here, so this fall when we came back, it had quite a few leaves with edges were a little bit brown, kind of curled, and we were just wondering what's wrong with it. All the leaves have fallen off now.
Yeah, you know what? They're going to fall off during the winter, but here's the deal with the persimmon trees. They are a marginal type plant. I know people will go ahead and grow them out here, and we've grown a couple out here, but what happens is we had one of the longest, hottest, driest, miserable summers you could ever have out here in Arizona. And folks, if you weren't right on top of the plant material and you had a brand new plant that was planted in the spring, you notice she said she was planting in the spring. Well, it was planted in the spring. You should be planting those right now, as you should your apples, your peaches, your plums, your pears, because the fact they get established before we get that real serious hot weather. So that's what you're seeing. Again, send me a picture of it or read Sick Tree Treatment. Definitely mulch around the tree itself. And then let me take a look at it, but more than likely you've got a lot of salt buildup, it wasn't watered correctly, it wasn't fertilized correctly, and possibly it's got some serious sunburning on the trunk of the tree, and you need to go ahead and cover it with some white latex paint.
All right, thank
There
you
you
very
go.
much, Dave. And if you guys still have questions out there, there's a lot of different products out there, books written by the famous Dave the Garden Guy, who hopefully will answer all your questions there. You can also email him at
Gardenguy@gardenguy.com.
gardenguy.com. Dave, thank you very
Thank
much
you.
for joining us again this morning.
I appreciate
We'll
it.
see you
Thank
next
you.
Saturday.